population is exponentially growing that we hardly control. World population reaches 7 billion at 2012. It only took 13 years from 6 billion at 1999. Population growth brings large number of issues. However, there are huge problems between growing population and draining resources, which are water scarcity, high consumption lifestyle, and limited food. As population pressures in the region increase, the demand for water resources rises. More people require more than double of water. The water we actually can use is much less than total amount of water in Earth, and drinkable water is a lot less than the water. Even though technologies are trying to figure out the problem, the water consumption is rapidly increasing. Second, many people seek better lifestyle and consume a lot of resources which leads to urbanization. When Earth gets urbanized, it requires tons of natural resources and continues losing farmlands. This is it, what directly destroys Earth and will affect increased drought and flooding result. Then it will cause insufficient food production too. Therefore, water scarcity, mass consuming natural resources from high consumption lifestyle, and limited food production eventually will be magnitude issues caused by population growth, possibly influenced to human beings.
To reiterate what Ryan explains, the Earth is becoming more densely populated. At the rate we are consuming natural resources, we will not be able to sustain our current population growth. The average American, for example, has an ecological footprint of 23 acres, which is equivalent to 17 football fields. If every human on Earth consumed at this rate, we would need 5.5 Earths to avoid depleting our ecological resources. So, if in fact abundance is to be our future, the developed countries need to reduce the luxuries and non-essentials they are currently used to. It is not uncommon for North American families to have multiple cars, televisions, and iPods, while children in Africa go without water for days at a time. When we consider changing our current trend of resource usage, we need to think of population as a whole, reducing our ecological footprint so others can have better access to the basic amenities such as food, water, and shelter would be a great start.
Technological advancements are being made on a daily basis, and the rate at which technology is replacing a lot of our daily commodities, it's increasing at an exponential rate. So people are led to believe that technology has a place in our future in fixing our resource problems, but one question I can't help but ask myself is, what if our dependency of a potentially technology-based future, technology-led future, is actually flawed? I mean, we have simple resources such as coal for electricity, oil to power cars and to power simple household items, and lithium, which is the main component in batteries. So you're looking at our future of electric cars. How do we expect to power those electric cars? And these resources are proven to run out in little less than a century from now. So how do we expect, if we expect to be sustained by technology over the long run, where do we expect to acquire these resources when they eventually run out? So I believe that technology is for the better of mankind, but over the long run, it's not going to get us very far when we have all these simple resources running out.
The claims that we have made previous in this film were right, such as the fact that we are running out of our resources. One may argue that the Slingshot water purification unit can give us unlimited access to clean water, but that's not the case. The Slingshot purification unit costs $1,000 to $2,000 and does not include the cost of maintenance or its power consumption. The fact of the matter is that many global citizens do not have access to electricity, nor can they afford the large down payment and/or the annual fees. The Slingshot may seem like a reasonable counterattack to our fear of lack of resources, like water, but many of these people in most dire need of this water have no foreseeable way of accessing the Slingshot. We would need a multitude of charities or funding from the various governments to reach the poor, but we believe we live in an all-for-me society and will not extend a helping hand. Even if we solve the single issue, it is just one of many resources to guarantee our survival. argue that technology, with innovations such as the slingshot, can save us from our impending danger. Through research, we have learned that for any new technological advancement, it takes between 19 to 30 years on average to mass produce the product. Researchers say that we must cut global emissions in half within the next 40 years. With these technological delays, we would have to act quick and work diligently. The problem, big companies look for ways to save money, with little or lack thereof, care for the environment. On average, environmentally friendly equipment is more costly to purchase, so any change must begin with investors and large-scale organizations. The fact is that the rich get rich by being cheap, and many are unwilling to change. Last but not least, some say that an increase in our human population will leave more room for great minds to help solve any current and upcoming problems. Our greatest issue with this, however, is that the more humans we have, the more food and water we consume. The more they use, the less we have. Our lives depend heavily on these resources. Oil will be used up faster, CO2 will be added to the atmosphere faster, which ultimately will make our planet a greenhouse. The more people living on the Earth, the less stable we are as a society. As quoted by World Watch institutions, if we cannot stabilize climate and we cannot stabilize populations, there is no ecosystem on Earth that we can sustain. With our lack of resources, our limits to technology, and our rising population, the planet is full, and there is no current day solution to save us from ourselves.
Okay, back up like a little.